Hi everybody, how are you doing? My name is Dave Jones. I work at the West Hampton Free Library, and to talk about just a little bit about what we're going to be doing in May. In May, we're going to talk about how you can automate your house and different ways that are available now where you can do things electronically even when you're not home. So it could be like adjusting the thermostat, the temperature of the house through the thermostat, all the way up to when you pull up into your driveway, you can open up your garage door and unlock all your doors and everything without even having to push that little button that you keep in your car. So it'll be really interesting. And we'll talk about a little bit of things like Amazon's got a device. It's called Alexa now, and it'll listen to your voice and it'll answer any questions that you have. And so it'll be a lot of fun. But today, we're going to be talking about how to prepare yourself in case you lose your smartphone. Something that we all hope won't happen. So the introduction. So just imagine, you can think of it as a nightmare, but maybe at some time you may have misplaced your phone. Maybe you left it at a restaurant table. Maybe you put it down someplace and walked away. Or perhaps you had it in your pocket and it fell out. And you hear a lot of stories about people that go into a bathroom and for some reason it falls out and worse, it always hits the toilet and goes right in. And next thing you know, you can't use it. Or the worst case scenario, somebody actually steals it, because I don't think we totally take into consideration that these phones that we have now, especially when you go to the store and you buy it, you may pay like $200, $199. But like the iPhones, they're really a $1,000 device. And that's because we don't pay a lot of money, because we buy it on a contract. So you only pay a little bit up front, and then you pay it off slowly. It's included in with your phone bill. But it's very expensive, and if you lose it, a lot of times they're not gonna want you to, give you a new one, without paying for it. They're gonna make you pay the full price. So what we're going to be trying to discuss is ways to try to make sure that we don't lose it. So, and then on top of that, however it happens, if you lose your smartphone, it could be a real burden, because in a lot of ways now, your smartphone is now like an electronic version of your wallet. It has a lot of your personal information on it. It'll have your banking information if you do a mobile banking on it. I rarely go to the bank now. If I get a check and I need to deposit it, I don't go to the bank anymore. I take a picture of it on my cell phone. And then it automatically, you sign it, you take a picture of the front of the check, you turn it over, you take a picture of the back of the check, and then it gets incorporated into the into your account. It'll take maybe a couple of days to clear, but it saves you a lot of time. But that information is on your phone, and then on top of that, if you do any online banking, even if it's not through your phone, if you have an Amazon account and you're on your computer at home and you do all your personal shopping there, Amazon's got your credit card on file. If you have an Amazon app on your phone, then there's a very good chance if, say, like on your phone you like to list or read ebooks, and you have a Kindle someplace, you have a Kindle that you usually read when you're home, but then if you go out, you might want to read, you have spare time, you might want to read on your cell phone, you can do that. You can just download and install the Amazon app, and you have access to all your electronic books. But then, because of that, it's also tied in with your credit card number. So you always have to be careful about that. And then on top of it, you have other things. You have, not many people really use cameras anymore. They take a lot of their pictures with the cell phones. So it has all your important pictures on it. It has a lot of important correspondence with other people through emails. So there's a lot of very important information that's on your phone, and you want to make sure that you try to protect that as much as possible. So, the world of the lost smartphones. So steps that you take before you lose it. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to write down all the important identification information. First of all, you're going to start with your phone number. You might not think that's important, but I have to be honest with you, I can barely remember my own phone number now. It's like everything's in an address book, so you just look up the person's name and you click send. I know when I need to look up my phone number sometimes, I actually have to dial my voicemail so my number comes up so I can see it. You're also going to want to write down your serial number. A lot of times that's going to be on the box when you first buy your phone. Every time, wherever you purchase your cell phone from, whether that's Verizon, AT&T, or even at Best Buy, when they do the transaction, they always write down the serial number because it's important with their inventory. But at the same time, it's a very important piece of information for you to have.
Is it on your phone?
Sometimes. It used to be that if you pulled out the battery on your phone, like in the picture right here that I have, it's a little bit hard to see, but it's going to show the serial number on there. But that was possible when you're able to take out and replace your batteries. Now most phones you can't do that, so it's not available through there to see. So a lot of times you're going to have to write it down, off the box.
But on an iPhone, you can get a serial number under general.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, I don't own an iPhone, so I'm not sure. I can never find it on an Android device on it, so I've always just wrote it. It's always on the box, and I knew it was there. So if I couldn't pull the battery out, I'll just write it down off the box because it's very important for, like I said, inventory purposes that the stores and the companies are always keeping the information.
So wait a minute, just since you have an iPhone, where is it in general? Because I
It's
think
in
general and about.
about.
Oh, for
okay, under settings
Okay.
and general.
Good.
Settings in general, then about, and then it's down near the bottom, serial number.
So you could take a screenshot and email it to yourself somewhere, right? And then have it.
There's different ways to do the screenshot. I know with some of the Android phones, if you press, like with my phone here, if you press, and it's a little tricky, you have to have the item that you want on the screen, and then you got to press the bottom, the down, the volume down, and the power button at the same time.
See here, this right here, and the little thing. That's it. And then it'll show up in your pictures. This one.
Right.
Yeah, at the same time.
But the important thing to remember is the fact that even if you know you can find it on your phone, you're going to need to have a record of it because when a lot of times when you're going to need it is when you don't have access to your phone. So, and then one of the more important things to keep a record of, it's called your IMEI number. It's International Mobile Station Equipment. It's almost like the VIN number on your automobile. It's a specific number that individually identifies your specific phone. That number it's a unique number that only your personal phone will have, and that's really good for if you have that information and somebody finds a phone that looks like yours. That's how you could. You can know 100% for sure that it's your phone, even if it was wiped and all your information was taken off of it and everything. So, the IMEI number could be a little bit hard to find. You can go into your settings in different ways, but I know with both iPhone and with Android, all you got to do is if you dial star pound sign 06 and the pound sign, they'll show up on your screen. And actually this picture right here, that's a screenshot of my phone after I had done that, and this is what comes up after I dialed that number. And I tried that on an iPhone too, and it doesn't come up exactly like that. It's actually, you just get a black screen with just the number on it, and it doesn't even say what it is. It doesn't label it as the IMEI. It just gives you that long number. second step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to configure an online backup service. Most of us will have iPhones and Android phones, so it's pretty easy. This is especially in the last couple of years, because with iOS 7, when that first came out, they had really begun making use of the iCloud services really important. So before that, a lot of times if you wanted to create backups of a lot of your files and everything, you literally had to plug your phone into your computer and sync it with iTunes and everything. But you didn't always do that, because since that was an extra step you would have to do, a lot of times if you went someplace and took a lot of photos, if you went away on vacation, you might not think to sync it with your computer, or if you're still away and you left your computer at home, if somebody steals your phone when you're on vacation, then those pictures would still be lost. With iCloud, and also with Google Drive, a lot of the nice things about those items is that they'll sync automatically over the air. So if you take a picture, it's automatically backed up, it's automatically uploaded into the cloud, so you have a copy of it. And you can also do that with all your important documents with Android, since the emails with Gmail, that's web-based anyway, so you always have access to that, so that's got an online backup.
I thought that iCloud will only back you up if you have a certain limited number of photographs, and then they won't back you up.
Well, the disadvantage, I should say, with iCloud is they only give you a limited number of space, and then they want you to purchase additional space on it. So if you could actually fill that up pretty quick. Android used to be the same. It used to be very similar. They would do that. But they had since changed it, so they'll give you unlimited number of photos or space to upload your photos, as long as you don't use the highest quality setting that's available. If you keep it at a standard setting, then you have unlimited space that you're able to back up your photos. And they also give you a generous
For Android only.
right, or until as long as they're around. So. But.
When you reach the iCloud limit, what do you do next?
You could try one of, there's a number of third-party apps that are available, like Dropbox. That's an app that you can download and install, and it'll do the same exact thing. When you install it, it'll give you the option to automatically back up all your photos and everything over the air to it.
But you can also purchase more iCloud storage.
Right, you can. It's
Not that expensive.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
I just did it, and it cost $1 a month. I went from 5 gigabytes to 50.
Right.
I have 1,000, 2,000 music things and 1,000.
Right.
And I have my wife's on that 5 gigabytes also.
Right.
So there were 2 phones and an iPad. And I haven't run out in 5 years.
Yeah.
So I just did it
Yeah.
this month for $1 a month.
Right.
I went up to 50.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Right. No, it's available. It's out there, and what you really should be using it, because it'll give you a backup of things that are very important to you. And it doesn't have to be just photos either. It could be if you have any important documents. Like I'll have a lot of PDFs of electronic receipts and invoices. They'll be on my phone. Those get backed up also. I know you're able to use both Android and Apple have mobile versions of like the Google Docs, so you could write letters and different kind of correspondence that way that will get saved into the cloud. And I know Apple's got a free mobile version that I think it's called iPages that you're able to use. And so there's a lot of other things that you should be trying to make sure that you have backed up into the cloud other than just photos.
iPages is a offsite storage device,
iPages is like a word processor that it's made from, and it might not be. They may be like a whole set. Like how Microsoft Office there's a word processor, spreadsheet. Apple's got a version of their own, and it's called like iPages, and maybe like Writer and things.
Dark green screen, I can't seem to get it.
Yeah, but what the nice thing is, for you to use the pages on your computer, I think you have to pay for it. It's like $10 for each for the writer and then for the spreadsheet. And I remember I bought it for the iPad at the time, but then I heard that they made it free for the mobile devices, and you only had to pay for it if it was on the computer. Microsoft did something very similar with the Office apps. You could actually sign up with a Microsoft account, which is free, and that will give you the mobile version of their Office app, which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and something else. But they also give you, what is really nice is they have an online storage that's called OneDrive. And they really did a big thing because they actually they started giving everybody, like for free, about 20 gigabytes of space. And then if you already owned a version of Office that maybe you had purchased, or say you bought a new laptop and it came with it, they then gave you for free a terabyte of online storage that you could use, which is really, really nice. So, and you could do the same thing with that app. You could have it set up so all your photos get automatically uploaded. So there's also other third-party apps that are available that you could do some different things. But a lot of these, they come with your phone, or they're through another service that's very popular and a lot of people know about. So that's why I put these 4 up here. Step number 3 you want to do is you gotta use a strong screen lock, and don't do the little pattern or 4-digit pins, because those you could actually people could actually figure out. You're gonna want to do a long combination, just like what people are saying with your passwords that you use for your online accounts. You're gonna want to do a long combination of numbers, letters, and special characters like symbols. Also, try not to use a recognizable word or phrase that would pertain to yourself. If anybody had gone to, I had spoken here a few months ago about delete, 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 and I had told, and when I was here, I talked about how people would actually could use your Facebook account or Facebook information if that was public. So if you made a password and it was the name of your dog, and then if somebody went to your Facebook account and they saw a picture with your dog that you had tagged with a picture of Danny and Fluffy, and then they could try Fluffy and they could actually maybe be able to figure it out. So you want to make sure it's hard. It's a long combination that is not something that would be recognizable by yourself. Through either, so don't use like a birthday or things like that. The only disadvantage about doing that is it could be very hard to remember the password, but the idea is hopefully if you keep typing it, you'll remember it. And this is going to be the most important thing. Step number 4 is set up a Find My Phone app. And both Android and Apple have this. And what they do is they're apps that you install on your device, and then if you lose your phone or can't find it, you can actually use these to help try to search for it. These apps use the same information that it uses the GPS that's on your phone, so the same technology to help you find your way around town or to your favorite restaurant. It'll actually also show you the location of your phone if you can't find it. Like I said before, you have to install the software, but it's a free app. And the other thing about these is they added a few extra features that we'll talk about in a second. Yes?
Whose phone do you use to find your phone?
Well, don't necessarily have to go to a phone. So you would download these apps, and then if you lost your phone, you could just go to any computer that has a connection to the internet, and then there's usually a website that you go to. I know with Apple or with the iPhone, if you go onto like the iCloud.com, as long as you have your username and password, you're able to sign into your account, and then you could actually click on there'll be a little button there to find your device. It'll list all your devices that you own on there, and then if you click on them, it'll actually show you it's almost like a Google map.
So you go to iCloud on your computer.
Right. Just go iCloud.com, you sign in with your username and password. And there's actually a lot of nice features. I don't think a lot of people know about iCloud.com, because when you go to that, it gives you access to a lot of the things that are on your phone. Like it'll give you access to your photos, obviously, if they're being backed up, but also a few of the apps that are on there. So if you have the Office suite that I was talking about, the iPages, you can actually go on there, see some of the documents you may have written that had automatically uploaded, and you can actually open them up, edit them, and then save them again without being at your phone. And the other feature on there is the Find Your Device. And this actually kind of shows what you would see is it'll bring up a map, it'll show you your device, and it'll be good for, it's not going to give you an exact to the foot, but it'll give you a general idea of where it is. So say if you couldn't find it and you had just come home from you were out doing errands, it'll actually give you an idea of what place you may have left it behind.
This is whether it runs out of battery or not.
If it runs out of battery, then it's not going to work, but it actually has to be turned on. So the idea is, as soon as you know that you misplaced it, try to use this right away in order to find it. Because then if somebody stole it, they could actually just turn it off also, and then you wouldn't be able to locate it.
I would think they would turn it off pretty quickly after they got it.
Yeah, they usually do. But that's why it's imperative. As soon as you know that you've misplaced it, go and do it right away.
Frequently I get little messages that, should I allow my phone to know where I am? And I usually say no, because I don't want it following me around.
I mean,
Clearly, that's not going to work for this.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of, if you've heard me speak enough times, you'll hear that I usually talk about there's this seesaw, there's this seesaw between personal privacy and convenience. It's like, how much privacy are you willing to give away in order to have convenience? So, and that's where the convenience is. If you allow your phone to track where you're going, if you lose the phone, you'll be able to,
And if you haven't enabled that, then this whole thing wouldn't work.
Right. Because when you download and install the app, that's the first thing that you're actually doing, is you're enabling that to work.
I see.
So.
I have another question.
Okay.
Okay.
Item number 3 is, you say you've learned your phone is missing, you send with any command you think is appropriate?
Well, I'm going to talk about some of the other things, because before I started answering the questions, I said, it used to be when the apps first came out, it was pretty much, it would just show you where it was, and then you had to go in there and see if you could find it. But then they started doing, adding other features on it, like it will do a remote ring. You can actually have it so it'll ring. So, say you lost your phone, you can't find it.
It's in your house.
Right. And you go and you do find my phone, and then you see it's close by. It has to be here someplace. You can actually have it so it'll ring,
Right.
and then it'll start ringing, and then you get and you hear it, and you'll start looking under the pillows of your couch and everything.
So are there things you can do in reference to
There's
this question? If somebody is stealing it turns it off. Is there something you can?
Right. Then you can also do what's called a remote wipe, which what it'll do is it'll erase everything that's on your phone. So,
That sounds
Which-
drastic.
It is drastic, but if if your phone's missing and if you have your credit card information and things like that on there that you don't want given out, or somebody to find, it's
Can you make it unusable to them?
uh,
Mess with their head?
you can with and we're actually skipping ahead a little bit now, but yes,
I'm sorry.
with iPhone you can. That's another one of the new features. That's all right. It's all right. That's another one of the new features that they actually just employed is that once you do the remote wipe, not only will wipe everything off, but it'll make it unusable until your username and password is entered into it. So then it's just because. I mean, with the only good thing that the wiping really did was it just removed your important information from there, so that could be used against you. But if somebody was stealing, because like I said before, it's a $1,000 piece of phone. If somebody wanted to just steal it and then sell it, if you wiped it, you just helped them out because that was one less thing they had to do. So, and unfortunately with Android you can't do this yet, but with iPhones, you can make it so you're bricking your phone, so all it becomes is an expensive paperweight.
And everything is backed up anyway.
Right.
I have something, if you go to find your phone, you use like your iPad or your computer, your iCloud.
Well, you go to the iCloud. That's usually where from your computer. That's where you have to go in order to get to find your device on it.
Do we have to upload that same app?
No, it's just a website. So you just go to iCloud.com, and then it's going to ask for your Apple ID and password. You just type that in, and then your information comes up because it's stored on the cloud. And then one of the features on there is and I'm saying find my phone, but it could be like find my phone, find my iPad, find my iPad mini. It could be find my MacBook. It's only limited to the number of devices. Like mine right now, I was actually just looking at it before we started talking, and I have 3 items on it, 2 of which are cell phones that I'm not using anymore, that I just have stuck in a dresser drawer, but I haven't taken them off the list, so they're on the list also. Alright, so the Android Device Manager, that's the name of the app that you would use for your Android phone. So you go to the Google Play Store, you look up Android Device Manager, you'll find it, you can download and install it. And as I had already said before, you're able to make it so your phone will ring, you're able to set it up so it will show you on a map where it is, and then if you need to, it'll wipe it and it'll erase everything that's off of it. Unfortunately, it won't brick it, so it's not usable, but at least nobody's going to be stealing your information. And then you have the Find My iPhone app, and you'll notice that they both look pretty similar. Like here it's got the information about, this is for the Nexus tablet, and it'll say ring. I can't read what that says, actually, and the other one is erase. I had it started on my phone. Let's see if I can see it real quick. Device Manager. Well, it's going to ask for my password. And it will actually ask for your password, so nobody could use it to turn off the service. Oh, the other one is lock. So if you think it's close by and if you have a feeling that you just misplaced it, you could just, the middle one is feature is you could just have it so it locks it, so if somebody picks it up, they can't go and be looking through your pictures and stuff. Oh, no, on here. So if you were to go onto your computer and press ring, it'll do, and then you'll be listening to this and searching through the house and everything.
Will all these things work if your phone is turned on?
No, that's the only.
None of those will work if your phone is turned on.
I'm sorry?
None of these things that you can't.
This, no. So you have to, and then, like I had said before, what you're going to need to do is as soon as you know that it's missing, you got to try to use this right away if you think it's been stolen, because they're either going to take the battery out, turn it off, they're going to do something in order to keep it so it can't be located. But at least it's still available, so if you get to it quickly. you can still have an idea of where it may be. And then we could always go old school, and you could always write a little note on and put it on your phone. And oddly enough, this has happened more times than you would think, where if you left it someplace, somebody may find it and see a contact information. You know, you may find an anonymous person that will let you know, hey, you left your phone here.
I work for a business that runs convenience stores, and I cannot tell you how many phones and wallets that we find or turned in. There's more honest people than you think. And we've returned almost everything, but it's amazing how many people don't do that. And I don't even have it on mine. I keep reminding myself that if we had a name, we could return it a lot quicker.
Mhm.
People retrace their steps.
That's a great idea.
But customers, they find wallets or phones on top of the pumps or in the restrooms or.
See, these are these things that you can buy through Amazon. It was like $8, and it has a little magnetic thing that closes it, and so you could put your business card right in here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, and in your wallet too.
And you can even set it up so on your lock screen you can actually put information on there. Say, if found, please call, and put another number or something. So if you go to like find my phone and you press lock on it, it will remotely lock it. And so if somebody picks it up and turns on the screen, you could actually have it so it'll show that information on there. Because a lot of people probably are not going to want to tape a little message onto their phone.
Could you go back to number 4?
That one?
No, next one. No,
That one.
that one.
So, yeah, and like I said, I know at West Hampton we have a whole basket full of phones, and they didn't have anything written on them. They were locked, so we couldn't see any of the information. And now the batteries are dead on them, so we've got all these phones and nobody's claimed them. And it's weird. We can't even contact people to let them know.
People used to not lock their phones, so we would just go find somebody in their call list, call them.
Right.
Whoever this comes up
Yeah,
as.
we had done that too. We would,
But everybody locks their phone now,
Mm-hmm.
so you just have to hope somebody calls it,
I know.
but even then you can't answer it.
Yeah.
So if the phone is locked and turned off, you can still press the thing to see at the first screen? Like you,
Well, if it's turned off, it won't. You would have to turn it on.
but they can turn it on.
Right. It can still be turned on. It's just that you'll get up to a lock screen, and you won't be able to go into it until you either put in a long password or enter a PIN or something.
They'll see that information that you said.
Right. Right. All right. Getting near the end. So you lost your phone. Now what do? Oh no! So you feel like this, and like I said before, you could always try and call if you just put it down someplace in the house and you can't. I've done this so many times, and I can't find it. I'll go to my girlfriend and be like, "Can you call my phone?" So I can see where it is. And as I said before, hurry up and use your Find My Phone app, because that's going to be the easiest way, as long as you still got a battery and it's not been turned off. And if it's not in the building or in the room that you're currently in, it'll let you know the general area so you can go back to find it. The second thing you should do is, once you know that you lost it and you can't find it, change your important passwords. Because even if it's got a lock screen on it, there's a lot of crafty people that are out there that will, over time, be able to get past the password screen and get into it. There's ways that you can go into a recovery mode on your phones, and through that you can set it up so you can still get in and scan the information that's saved on it. So once you get to this point, it's like if you lost your wallet, what would you do? So you start with changing your passwords, do the financial ones first, all your banking, your shopping cards, anything like that. Then you're going to want to go to your email accounts, your social media, change those passwords.
I mean, you have
I
them
know.
for,
I know, it's horrible.
you have them for shoe stores, you have them for coffee shops.
It is. It is, and they always say you shouldn't use the same password more than once, but, and on top of that, you should be changing them routinely. Well,
Has anybody developed something that makes it less haphazard and more?
a little bit. With Android, there's an app that's called two-factor authentication. So a lot of times it doesn't necessarily work always with the phone, because in order for you to use the phone, you have to enable it. But you could set it up so that it will ask for the two-factor authentication always. It's that seesaw between privacy and convenience, though. The problem is that means two-factor authentication means you need a second device in order to give you a password in order to gain access to your first device. So if you want to use your phone and you have it set up so every hour you got to put in this extra code, that means you're going to need to have access to a computer or something like that in order to get it. I mean, it'll make it more secure, but it makes it very, very inconvenient.
I'm wondering what the others in the room are doing about keeping your passwords.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other things that you could do. They're in the early stages. There's apps that are like password generators that you install them on your phone. They stay local. They don't get broadcasted out, and they make. What they'll do is they'll generate a random nonsensical password for it. And then what you need what they'll say is, then all you got to do is remember one very long, complicated password in order to gain access to all your other passwords on it. But it makes it inconvenient. I mean, you can have that so it's on your phone, and you can open up that app, and then you put in your password. Then you got to go to whatever site you want to find, copy that password, which is really just a press of a button, but then you got to go into the other app to log in.
Do you know with the iPhone or the Mac or Apple stuff, it says, do you want to keep this password in the iPad?
Right. That's the convenience. They can do that so you're...
Can't someone get into the iPad?
Yes.
Right.
It's
So it's not a good idea to-
right. Yeah. That's the scary thing, because once you put it out there, somebody may, that's like with Target and all these stores, where their databases get breached. You never know. There could be a chance that, but on the other side is, if you're backing up everything to your iCloud, if they get into the iCloud to get that, then they already have access to everything else already anyways. So,
So we should take the Mac, save any of our passwords.
yeah.
So we should.
This is syncing with the cloud or syncing with my computer. And I go, oh my gosh, I gotta clear off my phone. If I can clear my phone, do I clear it off my computer? Does it clear off the computer too?
No, because what it's doing is it's just wiping your phone and resetting it back to the way it was when you first got it out of the box. It's a factory reset. So it'll erase everything that's on there, so nobody can access
My
it.
contacts, I can update them on either
Right.
device, so it's not gonna erase.
No. Because I think that's step number 4. Nope, step number 5 must be. Call your, change your passwords, then let your financial institutions know.
Go back to change your password.
Yeah. That is if you would probably not necessarily have to let your financial institutions know. Like if you lost it and like you just left it someplace and it was only a few minutes ago, you could just quickly change your passwords and feel relatively safe that, it's still secure. If somebody stole your phone, if somebody swiped it out of your pocket or something, then you may want to let your financial institutions know, because that will alert them So if then they'll start looking out for any odd transactions or anything, so they'll give them a heads up, they'll look for something that may not seem normal. And then also report the loss to the police, because a lot of times, if you're going to have to, if somebody did steal your phone and gain access to your banking information, they started like using credit cards and stuff like that. In order to put a stop on that, you need to have a police report. So you're going to have to call the police. And then, yay, you found your phone, but you didn't have it for a while. What should you do? Ideally, you should factory reset it, wipe it out, and start all over, and still change your passwords and everything. Because somebody may have found it, they may have gotten the information and then put it back. Somebody may have found it, unlocked it, put some sort of malware on it, if they're really technical savvy, then put it back, hoping that you'll pick it up and still use it, and then they could have maybe like some sort of a keylogger on it, where they're able to record and see everything that you type or do on your phone, where they can then gather all other information about you. So even if you recover it, ideally you should reset it to factory settings, change your passwords, and then go on from there. I mean, if you really want to feel safe. And then I got a couple of steps here. If you need to reset your iPhone, you can do that. There's a couple of ways you can do it, but these, for me, it seems like the easy way is you just go to Settings, General, and then Reset. And then you'll get a red button that'll say Reset Everything. You'll press that, and you'll be like, "Are you sure?" And then it's going to ask for your username and password. So, and once you do that, it's just going to do nothing for about 5 minutes, and then it'll restart, and it'll say, "Welcome to your new device." You know, you may have had it a couple of years.
But wait, where's all your stuff, though? I mean, where's all the stuff you're just about to wipe out? Is it someplace else?
Well, hopefully you want to make sure it's backed up on the cloud.
Yeah.
Because then what you can do is you'll reset it, and then you could go and put in your username and password, and then you can start the process of restoring it.
So the iCloud has all your contacts, your photos, your
Yeah.
your apps. It knows what you have.
It might not know all the apps. I know with Google, because Google will do the same thing, but it usually seems like there's a few stray apps that for some reason it doesn't install. But I don't know if it's just me, but personally it seems like those were apps I weren't really using it, so I never really missed them until then one day while I'm just going through the Play Store, I'll be like, "Ooh, I used to have this." Must be it wasn't very important because I just remembered it.
If you delete a contact, doesn't it delete it from the file?
If you delete the contact.
So is that what you're doing, right?
No, all you're doing is wiping the information off your phone. You're not deleting it from the cloud or anything. All you're doing is you're just changing whatever settings or information you put on this phone back to the way it was when it was brand new out of the box.
It would still be on my.
Right. On the plus side, if they're like, "Oh, I don't need this phone," and you just buy a new phone, you could do the same thing and just do a restore on your new phone, and it'll put a lot of the stuff on there, so you don't have to worry about manually putting everything back on there too.
Could you say that again?
One second.
I don't know enough about device apps. I think on my cloud, somebody could have had a virus in that cloud somehow.
It's possible, but it would have to be somebody really. It would actually probably. It's very hard, very, very, very hard. It would probably have to be more than one person all working together in order to do it and everything.
Could you explain that again if you had an old phone and a new phone? And
So with the as long as you're backing up your information and everything onto the cloud, you can then use those apps to, when you get a new phone, you could just log in. As long as you log in with the same username and password and everything, you could always have it so it will sync all your information and it will pull that back down from the cloud onto your phone. So I mean that's nice, because then, you know, like if you have your favorite apps and you want your pictures and everything, it'll just bring that back down so you don't have to manually spend hours doing it yourself.
If that's done, what happens to that information that was on your old phone? Does it just disappear? Or is it still sitting there in your?
It could still be there. I mean, if you have it, it could still also be on your old phone there. I mean, if it's just a phone you're replacing, and like I said, you stick it in a dresser drawer or something. So ideally,
You have the pictures, you can still have all that.
yeah. I mean, ideally, you might want to think about wiping it, you know, in case anybody broke into your house and, you know, and saw it and took it or something.
Well, when you buy a new phone now, they're downloading all your information from the cloud, so it goes onto your new phone.
Right.
The thing that they're doing now, though, they want your old phone. Because it's valuable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it costs it.
Yeah.
And you give it to them without wiping it. So,
Yeah. You gotta hope that, you know, you want to make sure and hope that they're doing the wiping also. So, trying to think what I was seeing. I think I already got to it. Then step 6 was to restore, you know, even after you found it and you did all the wiping and everything, restoring your phone. So you would either go to the iCloud or you go to the Google Device Manager. The nice thing is I know with Google is when you get a new phone, or if it's factory reset, the first thing it'll ask you to do is put in your account information, and then once you do that, it'll say, do you want to, you know, sync it with what we have on file? And then you just say yes, and then it'll take like 5-10 minutes, and it'll, you know, pull everything down, and it'll make it pretty close to the way it was before it was lost. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
So if it got lost, we can have it, we can turn it off. Can we turn it back on again?
No, not remotely. Because once it's off, it's not receiving a signal from the internet. So you wouldn't be able to do that. So, I mean, ideally, you would want it to be on and locked, so that way you might be able to find it and retrieve it. Because once it's turned off, that just makes it much more harder.
Can you lock it so they can't turn it?
Yeah. That's one of the features there where you can just lock it. I'm sorry? Well, if you go to like the Find My Phone app, what I had shown before. Oops, did I pass it? Yeah, it's you got these 3 settings right here that you'll see. The one on the left, you might be able to read, but the one on the left is the ring, which I had demonstrated where you can actually do that remotely and it'll start ringing. And with an iPhone, they actually make it so it's this blood-curdling screech that at least if somebody stole it, at least maybe you'll make their ears bleed or something, because it is piercing. The second one in the middle is the lock feature, where it'll keep it on, but it'll just make sure it'll lock it. Ideally, you'll have the lock feature already on the phone, so after a period of 30 seconds or something, it will lock automatically. But just to make sure, you can always press that.
Is 30 seconds what you recommend?
Yeah, because that's, you know, it's the convenience and the privacy. I mean, you could make it shorter, but then it's like if you type something on your phone and then you go look and say to answer somebody's question, and you turn back, and next thing you know, it's locked. You're like, oh, I got to put in my password again. And you could have it so it's longer, but at the same time, you could have it up to like 2 to 5 minutes, or maybe even longer. But then if you put it down, it's unlocked, then anybody can pick it up and just start going through everything that you have on there. Alright, so we did 6. Use the information to restore. And then, it's my favorite one, I can't help it. You should just, oh yeah. Ron Burgundy. So, I mean, the nice feature about the Ring is even if the phone's on silent, if you go to the Find My Phone app and press Ring, it'll turn it off to silent, and then it'll just start ringing at full volume. But this is one of those memes that you find online that's so funny.
See, the problem with that is it uses a battery.
Yeah, that's it. It'll drain it on it.
Batteries are dead, you have
So, but the whole point of the story is you should always try to make sure you prepare just in case not the inevitable, but the worst case scenario.
In the beginning, you said we should have a strong pass code,
Right.
but it's only 4 digits.
Yeah.
You have different options, or at least I know with Android, you have the option to have it so it's a pattern. So it'll give you like a grid of dots. I think it's like 9 or 12 dots, and then you're supposed to do like these odd shapes with it, and that will unlock it. The idea is it's quick and it's easy, but it's still locked.
But the iPhone is just 4. She's right.
Touch ID, password, and it's for.
iPhone 6 has the option of how many do you want?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Plus, before the 6, I think there were some third-party apps you were able to download that changed it so it was a harder lock screen.
I have to redo mine then, because mine's 4.
Yeah, it only comes up with 4.
Well, I'll have to look to verify that again, because I think there is, I'm pretty sure there is a way to do it. And maybe you may have to do it with a third-party app. But, and I think what that would do is, if I recall with the third-party apps, is then you got the 2 lock screens. It's like first you have the Apple one, so it'll ask for your 4 digits, and then another one comes up. So you're not allowed to do anything until after you put it in, and then that one could be however long as you wanted to make it.
Okay, Dave.
That's it.
Thank you very much. I think we'll stick around for a few minutes, but we want to end the formal part.